Hello, beautiful beings. Love and laughter, Tanya Rainbow Horse here. Thank you so much for showing up to receive the message. This video is for you beautiful beings on your spiritual awakening path who are working on having strong boundaries and being aware of where you're not putting boundaries up and you would like to put them up. So boundaries give us a place, a cutoff point where we are just telling people energetically we're not going to go there, or we're not going to push past this certain amount of space or somewhere, and we're just done with it. We're not going to accept it. And it's important to have because we get to decide where we've had enough with certain things. We get to understand where mentally and physically and energetically we just don't go because it's not healthy for us, it's not conducive to our energy, it bogs us down, we start leaking our precious life force energy, it diminishes our light, all sorts of different things. And one specific situation I'd like to kind of talk about that I experienced is when you're communicating with somebody and you tell them no on something and they continually come at you with what you already said no at. There's two things you can do there. You can continually talk about it and continually tell them no and drain your energy, feed into it, connect with it, which is draining your energy, poisoning, the harmony within you, giving away your power and authority, and not sticking up for what you know is a boundary for you. And then you lose trust with yourself and Great Spirit, and you're compromising your whole system. That's the reason we have boundaries in the first place. We understand where, we're willing to go and where we're not to keep our vitality. Well, I had a connection with somebody who had really great energy and a lot of it was beautiful. But there was something that I told them no on several times and they were not getting. And I continually felt like I needed to reiterate no. Now, if I had seen this situation as it went down the first time, I would have cut it off and moved on and not even thought about it anymore. That would have been me standing in my power fully, just saying, oh, end of the sausage. This is the line, done. Not gonna think about it anymore. Cut it off, throw it away, forget about it. But I wasn't quite at that awareness with the situation, and so I felt like I had to keep connecting and explaining or saying no. And it got to a point where it had started poisoning the harmony within me because I started to question. I was like, why is this person not understanding what I'm saying? Why is this person not understanding my boundary? Why are they continually pushing me? Why are they not getting the clue? And so it was this perpetual loop of poison, in my mind. I'm like, why? What's going on? Then I think something's wrong with me. And then I'm like, what's their problem? And it just starts a cycle of doubt and worry, and it throws everything off. It's sucking your life force out. So I let it go on for a while. And then finally, I kind of sat with it for a day or two before I responded to the person. I was like, what is really going on here? And then I just realized that I'm allowing this person to continually steamroller over when I said no. It doesn't matter how beautiful and glorious the connection is. If they're not listening to your boundary, cut it off. Cut it off. There's no amount of good that's going to do you if they consistently just don't care about that boundary. There's no amount of love and gloriousness and connection that can be had if it's sugar-coated with, I don't give a fuck about your boundary. So really paying attention to that fine line. Because for me, I've noticed that a lot of boundary situations will be sugar-coated in beautiful connection. And it can be tricky and hard to cut that off when there's beauty there, because it blinds us. We want the best. We want our hearts to connect with that person, and we want that connection to be in love and light. And we don't want to think bad on the person. We don't want to, close them down because they're beautiful and they're shining, their love out there. But your boundary for yourself, your energy, your life force in a connection is number one. Nobody else is going to tend to it. They certainly aren't. So you've got to advocate and stick up for yourself. And if that energy is being crossed, you got to cut that off. Or you're going to continually disrespect yourself, to continually degrade your connection with spirit and your energy. The way people go about with energy and connection with you is everything. Everything. The intent and how they connect with you is everything. Because like I said, you can have the most beautiful, heartfelt conversation with somebody, but then if there's that little bit of boundary that's being steamrolled, it doesn't matter. It's not rooted in love and light, because the intent is more clear that they don't care about your boundary after you've already stated it. So really, this one's about being aware and mindful of the energy exchange and the intent behind the energy exchange, not just the beauty of the connection. To get under the layer a little bit and to feel under really what's going on there. Because when we can look at the energy of a connection, a situation, we can rise above everything else, and we just see it purely as the energy signature. And that will give us the information we need to make a educated guess on where we should be taking it for ourselves, to keep ourselves in alignment and harmony with our own self and our energy, and to not continually drain it or be disrespected, or to just continually not tend to our own needs and to drain ourselves and to give our power away and our authority, and to not live in harmony and alignment with our own selves. So maybe this has happened to you before. Go ahead and put it in the comments. Open up. Where did somebody not listen to your boundary, even though the connection was rooted in beauty somewhere? Where have you connected with somebody and it was sugar-coated with some beauty, but underneath it, the intent was to not honor your boundary? These can be sneaky, and they sneak up on you. Like, I've been really working on boundaries for myself the last couple years, and this one just came out of nowhere, really. And really, I should have seen the signs, because the interaction kind of riled me up at the first time. And so taking a look at the energy signature of that underneath, if I had taken a look at that from the first place and put that firm boundary down, and then the feedback I got from the next connection would have told me shut it down. So once I did finally shut it down, then I had to do some energy clearing and healing on myself, because it had already gotten in there and started creating some, negative discord. And so I did my self-care rituals, which is what helps me get back into harmony and balance with myself when I've you know, allowed myself to veer off the path of harmony and alignment. But it's just easier to catch it before it gets to be a, you know, a little poisonous worm in the apple. So if you got any questions or comments, go ahead and put it down below. I'd love to open up a conversation about boundaries. It's, you know, a favorite topic of mine. And maybe if you got any tips or tricks on how to be aware of that, that's cool too. If you liked the video, I appreciate you liking it. If you subscribe, I'm grateful for that too. Helps me get my message out further. But until the next video, love and laughter. Aho.